Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Inteligense Chek. This is episode 6, and we're talking about action economy and downtime activities. My name is Grim, or Paul, whichever you prefer. I am your host for today, and my other host on the other side is Mr. Conrad Simmons. What's up, boy?
Hello.
Okay, so before we start today's episode, like I mentioned in the post on Instagram, we're going to have a little bit of a premiere today. So, those of you who've been watching Conrad stream over the past, 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
Yeah.
He's been composing a track for his campaign for Descent into Avernus. I'd like to say I had a little bit of hand of helping him do it, but I won't take any credit.
Indeed.
I've been sitting on stream and watching it, so I want to premiere that track for you guys today. Keep in mind, the track ends abruptly, but that's because it's going to be a looping track. But I'm just going to play it as is. So for those of you tuning in and you need music for your D&D games, hit up the boy at ConnorBoy24_TV, which is the Instagram handle. DM him there. But now we have the preview, the premiere. What are you calling this, by the way?
Not titled it as yet.
Okay, untitled song. But here we go, guys. Hope you guys enjoy it. And there we go. I apologize. I forgot to turn off the main, the underlying track. I do apologize for that. That was my bad. Again, we are professional.
Cool.
We are a professional production.
Yes, yeah. First class.
Too good, 3 good. But there you go, guys. That's Khan's premiere of his new song. He's going to be playing in our games of Dungeons and Dragons. Once again, if you want music from Conrad for your games, remember to hit him up at ConnorBoy24_TV on Instagram, and you guys can discuss what you'd like for your music.
Yes, sir.
Broaching today's topic, we're talking about action economy and downtime activities.
Ooh.
You know what? Let's start with downtime activities first, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are moments in the game where, like, if you're not fighting or you're not on a quest or something, like this happens more often in homebrew campaigns than it does in modules. Because modules, there's a progression that people are keeping track of. But in a homebrew campaign, your DM will give you guys plenty of time, like a whole day. Go shopping. Go work on whatever you want to work on. Hey, wizard, you want to scribe your spells? Here's a day for you to go and scribe your spells, whatever new spells you might have. So, so Khan, how would you use your downtime activity depending on the class that you've picked, say, for example?
Depending on the class, depending again on what my character would like to do. Like for example, let's just say Zerja had downtime. She'd spend the time actually probably going to a place, or rather meet someone who can like maybe educate her on how to travel to another plane and all that good stuff, or just gain even more knowledge about like the current plane she's in, because to her like that's her constant thing playing in her head. She is like, I need to know more, I need to sort my situation out. At the same time, I need to know more about this place that I'm in. She's kind of that sort of a person. Yeah, and I think it just depends on what your character would want to do. Or if your character was like, say, someone who's like into crafting solid weapons and stuff, or armor or anything, I guess that character would go around, find an armorer or find like a forge, work with that person, all that good stuff.
Yeah, for example, like Ishara in our game, she wanted to improve her sword a little better. So I'm like, okay, you go around town, you find the forge, you purchase some iron ingots or whatever ingots you wish, and you use your smithing tools to make your weapon better. And I asked her to roll her smith's tools check, and she got help from another friend who's also proficient in smith's tools. And she made a masterwork, which is basically a +1 weapon. Not magical, of course, but it's a +1 weapon, which then increases them, it makes them even more potent in a fight. Or say you're an alchemist who's an artificer and you want to make potions. You want to make poisons, or like say you're even a rogue who's got an alchemist kit. All this kind of stuff that you can do during your downtime. And downtime is also important, like, especially in a homebrew campaign, if anything, that players do want a moment where they're not killing shit or getting killed. Yeah.
It's also a nice time for the characters in game within the party also to just hang out with each other and not deal with whatever they were dealing with for just that day, and probably deal with their own personal, like just deal with their lives for a moment.
Because, I mean, that's what everyone forgets, though, right? Because see, in most video games, you are progressing from quest to quest to quest to quest to quest to quest to quest. In Dungeons and Dragons, you're a living, breathing person.
Yeah.
I mean, your character's alive. They have needs, they have wants, they have dreams, aspirations, all these kinds of things. Like in video games, everyone complains about nobody uses the bathroom. Like you're playing a badass character and you've been like going at it for 24 hours, beating the shit out of people. It's like, bruh, you're not eating, you're not drinking, you're not peeing, you're not doing any of your bodily activities. Which is fine, because again, a video game is about escapism. I get that.
Yeah.
But D&D, while escapist, there's still a certain amount of things. Like for example, taking a rest. You need to rest. At least a short rest at minimum. Because after a point, you're going to get exhausted. And I mean, again, it also depends on the DM. If the DM's going to use exhaustion rules, then fine. Some DMs don't give a shit, which is fine. I personally like it because then it slows the party down a little bit to the point where they're like, okay, you know what? Maybe we should take a minute.
Yeah, it adds that element of, okay, this is a living character. Like it reminds you of that. Okay, yeah, shit. Okay, this is a person. This is a living, breathing thing. It has body needs. The body has needs. It needs to rest. It needs to take time out.
Like for example, in my game of Farland, right now we're in the Underdark, which is a terrifyingly dangerous place.
Have a day out in the Underdark, folks.
It's one of the most dangerous locations you can go in D&D. It's ridiculous. But the thing is, like, so what DM will say, so are you guys going to take a short rest? Do you have enough supplies? Do you have enough rations? Do you have enough food? Because this is all stuff that you have to take as a character lest you get affected by exhaustion points. Now, exhaustion, it's a mechanic we haven't explained really well. But basically, there are 6 levels of exhaustion. At first level, your ability checks are a disadvantage. At second level, your speed is halved. At third level, your attacks and saving throws are made a disadvantage. Fourth level, your speed is reduced even further. Fifth level, I forget what it is, and then at sixth, you're dead.
Yeah.
So exhaustion is actually a fantastic mechanic, which is required lest you guys go absolutely murder hobo and slaughter everything in sight, which is perfectly fine. It's your power fantasy. But at the same time, I mean, like, the DM's going to be like, okay, dude, just, take a minute.
Yeah. And at fifth level of exhaustion, your speed is at 0.
You can no longer move.
You can no longer move.
There you go.
Yeah.
So somebody has to carry you.
Yeah.
And at sixth level, you're dead. I think, Khan, you've got 4?
I reached 4.
Yeah, I think you went
with
4.
Luna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof, that was...
It was horrible, guys. Like, trust me, you do not want to be in the... Sadly, in that moment in time, the party, we didn't have a chance to rest because we were running from a village and literally running for a day. So you can imagine, like, every hour that we're running, at the pace we're running, the exhaustion just ramped up easily. And sadly, my character, she failed every single save she had to make.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I mean, like, again, remember, DMs, I don't want to kill my characters, but they got to make smart decisions.
Yeah.
So downtime activity is actually quite important for a character, and also it's important for your gameplay as well. Because it adds to the fun. It gives you guys all a chance to role play a bit, get to know each other's characters a little bit more. Like in Farland, our usual downtime activity is a fucking drinking game. We just go to a pub and get smashed.
Yeah.
And of course, somebody in the fucking party has resistance to poison, or they've got complete immunity to poison. But it's great because then you can just immediately go, okay. So sorry, 1 second, guys. Yeah, so you can be so either people get smashed out of their faces, you can win money from getting into competitions with other people. I remember at one point we had a drinking competition against a bunch of rhino people.
Oh god.
And we won. But it was super tough.
Amazing.
It was super tough. Like, I mean, lucky constitution saves. Lucky saves.
Right.
I mean, like Shiv's character did his thing, and he's like he's Glimmet is resistant to poison. But after a point, he also lost. And finally, it came down to my character Drake, who has like fuck all for constitution, but he managed to beat the guys, and we got a chunk of money out of it. Or you guys can go to a pub, play a card game even. Like, for example, Khan did this thing in his Avernus. It's called what? Baldur's Bones?
Those bones, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically blackjack, right?
Yeah, it's 21, but it's called Baldur's Bones. And it's amazing because everyone plays Baldur's Bones. Like, all the gamblers, almost every tavern hosts Baldur's Bones game. So these guys got to play a game of cards with a particular individual who was good at cheating. Yeah. And they caught her red-handed at it also, which was amazing.
Yeah. It's stuff like that you can do, which is fantastic. And it's great because it invests you in the world, as well as the characters. For example, like this chick who is cheating, she's a quest giver. Yeah. And we managed to, someone managed to catch her cheating. And basically, it gave us sway over her. It gave us like a power over there. We're like, listen, either you help us out, or we report you for cheating. And then, because Baldur's Gate is a lawless place, if someone finds out that she's cheating in the game, they're just going to fucking kill her outright.
Oh yeah, outright.
So it's just like it's just us, like, it's good stuff like that happens during downtime activities. Yeah. Which can lead to a lot of fun stuff. Like, even, for example, Orion going and visiting Radar.
Yeah. That was really good use of the downtime y'all had.
Yeah, because like we had a plan to go and infiltrate a bathhouse, but we had a couple of days to like prep ourselves, get equipment or whatever we need. And Khan gave us this detour, and we went down it, and it was interesting. We learned a lot. And again, it's a good chance for you guys to learn about each other's characters and how they behave, how they act, what's their, behavior and anything. It's so good. And also teaches people how to use their skills better. Like most of the time, if you look at some of the stuff you get from your backgrounds, be it skill proficiencies or vehicle proficiencies or tool proficiencies. Like some people just pick a random tool like, fuck it, I'm not going to use it again. What 5th edition has done. And also, for those of you not familiar, there's a Kickstarter called the Grim Hollow Monster Grimoire, which is really fucking cool. Because basically, it's a book that's going to come out eventually. I've got the playtest for it at the moment. But when the book comes out, it's going to tell you, it's going to give you a range of monsters, like scary fucking monsters. But also, more importantly for players, it gives you rules on how to harvest from monsters. Which is pretty fucking sick.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Like I know some of you are like, oh, whatever the fuck. No, you don't understand. For someone who's into crafting like an artificer, or if you're putting any stuff on weapons or your armor, you can actually harvest organs or skin or hide or flesh or claws or whatever from these monsters and add them to your arsenal. So you can actually increase your armor class. You could increase your resistance to a certain element type maybe. It's super cool stuff that you can do in your downtime because there's so much stuff that happens after a long rest. So artificers get to choose and pick their infusions. You get to drink down potions, make poisons if you're a rogue, or artificers that can make it for you. Stuff like that. It's such cool things that can happen when you are not either getting your ass kicked or you're kicking ass.
Yeah. Like even wizards can just sit down with their spell book. If they have scrolls, they haven't scribed them down.
Yeah.
They have ample amounts of time to sit and go through their book, see what they want to put into their book, all that good stuff.
Unless you're a scribe wizard and then you just do it in an hour.
Let's not talk about scribe wizards. Bloody nonsense. But that's what makes D&D awesome, right? That's what breaks it away from regular RPG games that you would play on a console or a PC or whatever. It just gives you there's that element of reality in it.
I mean,
right? The element of reality is there.
Yeah, I think the closest game I would say which comes close is The Witcher 3 in fact.
Of course. Yeah, The Witcher 3, yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
Because Witcher 3 makes you go and research what you're going to face. Which I think a lot of people need to do in game is like in D&D as well. It's like if you know the enemy is X, Y, or Z, what you got to do is so what are their weaknesses? Can I go find a book in a library to see if I get information about them? Or maybe you want a blueprint of the underground that you're going into. Maybe there's a blueprint, maybe there isn't. You can do scouting, you can do reconnaissance. Like in Witcher, you go find a monster, you find out what his weaknesses are, and you prepare your oils, or you prepare your potions, or whatever you need to pop before you go into a fight. This is all the cool shit that you can do when you're not fighting something. Prepping yourself.
Like you guys also, like in Baldur's Gate, before you all went to the bathhouse, you all actually got a lot of info on the cultists through that downtime.
Yeah.
Y'all did get quite a bit of information. So y'all knew the type of people y'all were facing off before y'all even went to the bathhouse to do reconnaissance itself. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It's one of those very important things that people overlook. And it's not their fault because they just want to get to the action, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, I want to cut something up. Like I just recently started Curse of Strahd. I'm running it again. One of my players is a little too what's what I'm looking for? Enthusiastic with his greatsword. But that said, his greatsword has done some work. They found that hidden passage behind the mirror because he just attacked the mirror and his sword went through and the passage was there. He's like, great, this situation works. I'm like, sure. But I'm like, it's an inanimate object. When something swings back, then you're going to think twice. But at the same time, it's like, if you just taken a minute and sat down and gone, okay, let me just look around and understand my surroundings, understand what I'm going to be potentially facing up against. It's always important to take that time to just go, wait, let's not rush into this quickly. And I think it's like, see,
Yeah.
players' plans, while good, like you could come up with the best fucking plan in the world, like no question. But then execution lacks.
Mhm.
I'm like, no, I mean, like for example, our reconnaissance of the bathhouse. That is the first time a player-made plan that I've witnessed has gone without a hitch. I swear to God.
I was
First time
quite
ever.
impressed, honestly. Like, I was like, wow, this is actually going pretty well. It's going
Yeah.
pretty well.
I was super surprised. I was so surprised. I was like,
Except for Mando chopping off his finger, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't lead to us getting our asses whooped by like a gang of minions, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's one of those things that you guys like, definitely should look into. Downtime is very important. Like, I mean, unfortunately, like in my game, Storm King's Thunder,
Oh, there's just no room there for
there's
downtime.
not a whole lot of time.
I mean, we are going against the clock because there's this massive, thing that's gonna happen, and if we don't stop it in time, like who knows what's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
it could go completely sideways.
Yeah.
But that said, like for example, the last session, so they escaped near death. But now we spent an entire session, which was essentially in-game 2 days, and they are planning. Again, this counts as downtime essentially. They are planning an infiltration on this castle, where where this cloud giant bitch is, and they really want to kill her, understandably.
She
So.
gonna die.
Yeah, understandably so. They want to kill her, but the thing is, like again, that downtime that they're taking allows them to sit and plan. They spent a whole day painting their ship white. So
I
they
loved
can.
that I came up with that idea.
Yeah, I mean, like Carl just asked me, he's like, "Yo, is there paint on this?"
Can we paint the ship?
And I'm like, "You're gonna have to convince Delphine if that's okay." And they did it. In fact, Ishara did it. She rolled a 2. Delphine rolled a 1.
Oh god, that was epic. That was epic.
I was like, yeah, so Delphine's like, "Yeah, sure, just paint my fucking ship." So, you know, again, so this is stuff that you can, like, it's crazy shit that you can do. So they managed to paint the whole boat white, and now they've camouflaged themselves high up in the sky among some clouds. And of course, the guy behind the boat is also like, you know, keeping pace with the clouds' movements or whatever. If they're still clouds, he's staying in them. If they're moving, he's going to move with them, just so they stay invisible. And they're scouting this castle, and they're noting down the enemies walking through. Who are the patrols? Where are the patrols? What's the best point of ingress? All this stuff is happening, and it's all counts as downtime, and it's super cool to watch. As a DM, you're sitting there and going, "Okay, they've got a solid fucking plan. It's a very good plan." Now it's up to the dice and them to see if they make it.
Yep.
But all of this is happening, like as opposed to me just throwing them into fight after fight after fight after fight, which they can do. They're level 8s, so they can do a lot of good damage. They can do a lot of stuff. But let's be clear. I mean, what's one thing I'll say about you guys? You guys suck at managing your resources.
Oh, we suck. And like coming back to what you just said, like it's also, I feel like, you know, DMs need to give the players that chance. If it's possible to do so in a campaign setting, give them the chance to have downtime. Don't like try and pace it as much as possible for them. Again, if the campaign setting is such where they're going against the clock, for example, SKT, as much as we want to have downtime, we know we've understood now. We're so deep into this now. We know, there's no time to breathe. There's no time to even land or get to land. We've just been flying for so many days now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you guys feel like, you know, it's there is I can give my characters downtime. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
It's very important because, see, as much fun as, you know, rolling dice and attacking shit is, there is a point where even players go, "I just want to go to a pub and sit and just sleep," you know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that was one issue I had with my game of Fandelver. the wizard got a bunch of scrolls and he wants to scribe them, but they're in the middle of a dungeon. So I'm like, you can try. I won't promise that you won't be interrupted.
Oh man.
So it's one of those. It's give them the time. Players need that time because I love shopping episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Where you just go from shop to shop buying because you just finished a massive quest. You've got a chunk of change in your pocket. You're like, I am going to go spend this shit. I want to buy armor. I want to buy weapons. I want to buy potions. I want to buy poisons. Whatever I can get my hands on. I just want to do this shit. And it's super important that DMs give players that option. Because a DM who railroads a character into doing something is not a good DM.
Yeah.
Because
totally agree with that.
I want my players to just do whatever they like. Problem is in SKT is like they're on a clock.
Yeah.
Which is the problem. Like I would love to give them downtime. I would love nothing more than to give these guys downtime. But they don't have a whole lot of time left.
Yeah. I'm lucky, like all the DMs I play with, you, Adi, Shiv, there's downtime. Like in general, like that mentality is there.
Yeah,
it's
super
awesome.
Important. Super important.
Awesome.
And
even like as the DM also, it's fun to sit and watch what the characters get up to. You'll never know what shit they're gonna be up to. So be prepared. Be prepared to improv out the ass with that. And have fun with it. Have fun with it. I love, like, I'm still new at DMing, but I'm already having fun with it because I know no matter how much prep I do for the campaign, I know these guys are gonna throw me off the rails completely once the session starts.
100%.
So I'm constantly, my brain is always working in improv mode for the most part. I'll have my main setting done. I've got all my other shit set up, which if they don't go off course, that'll happen. But I'm constantly thinking, okay, I need to think of this. Let's see what they're going to do. Let's see what they're going to do.
It is.
Like, I honestly wasn't prepared for you guys to immediately go find a fortune teller and all that stuff. Like, Orion was on the spot, like, coming up with these things, and I was like, oh man, I didn't think of that. So I had to literally improv this character in my head. I was like, okay, yeah, she's called this, and you can meet her here. And then in the next session also, I was like, okay, they'll probably go meet her. They probably won't. But they did decide to go meet her. Finally, they went through with it. And it was amazing. It was really nice. It was super fun to watch you guys go through that entire day of downtime.
Yeah.
Chilling in the bathhouse also. Y'all even did that.
Oh, yeah. That was super fun.
Yeah.
But it's cool shit that players are allowed to do. And I'm like, do whatever. You can do whatever you want as long as it's within the rules. I'll never say
in
no.
Adi's game also, in Sands of Time, few sessions back, like we went to find a fight club because we had just reached Dakar and we had downtime, and Bilge was like, I need to find a fight club. I was like, it's a nice idea, let's find the fight club. Even my character Murun was like, yeah, I need to like, punch some shit just to get back into shape. We've just been traveling through the desert, and we ended up finding out that they actually have this entire tournament that was going to happen, and we came out as champions, and now we are champions of Dakar. We're literally being praised and worshipped by anyone. To the point where people see us, they're like, whoa, it's the champions. What do you want? Like, you'll never know what comes out from downtime. No.
Yeah, you can make a lot of money. You can lose all your money. Like, so many things can happen. And it's really, really fun, and allowing players to do whatever they like. It's like, it's super cool. Like Con said, it's so fun as a DM to watch them do their thing.
Yeah.
It's like, so, you guys arrived at a new city. What do you want to do? I want to go get drunk. Alright, the pub is that way. Cool. Let's go. Whatever,
Yeah.
I want to go play poker. I want to go play blackjack. Something, whatever. It's like, go for it. Let's do it. Give you a moment to just chill the fuck out instead of killing everything all the time.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. So, speaking of downtime, now we move on to active time. Or it's called action economy. Okay, so basically, action economy is what makes player characters better than the monsters that the DM throws at you. Because monsters have a limited action economy. They have, unless their sheet says they have multi-attack, they attack you once. They don't have bonus actions. They can attack and move. That's all they can do. Player characters have 3 things they can do on their turn, which is an action, a bonus action, and movement, which makes player characters super powerful actually. Because in a game like 5th edition, action economy is everything. In a fight, if you can do more things in one turn than anybody else on the other side can do, you win the fight. Without question. So, how do we? I'm trying to figure out how to approach this subject. It's a little difficult to talk about action economy. It's so difficult. I mean, it's a very simple concept. You have 3 things you can do on your turn, and when it's not your turn, you can do reactions. So technically, there are 4 things you can do in a fight.
Yeah, it's basically strategizing. Strategizing with what you have, with what your individual character has, and what you know your party members have. That's another very important thing for players to focus on when you're in combat. Think about what you can do, but keep an eye out, keep watching every one of your party members and see what they're doing every time. You might just find synergies that work.
Yeah, because right? I mean, the usual thing that happens is when it's not your turn, you just zone the fuck out.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Because that happens. Like someone just kind of stops paying attention. And they're like, oh, it's your turn. So what's happening? I'm like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Focus on the fight, dude. You guys are fighting for your lives right now. So when it's not your turn, plan your turn.
Yeah.
Especially casters, spellcasters. Oh my fucking god.
Oh my god.
When it's not your turn, plan it. Because see, I know for people who are not familiar with gaming per se, I know it's difficult to strategize and plan what you're going to be getting up to. But at the same time, it's also the matter of so the warrior has gone up, he's created a choke point. Perfect. I can drop down either a grease spell or a sleep spell or slow, or I can throw down a fireball, something. It's great positioning. So keep in mind, and also before you guys go into a combat situation or whatever, talk to your party members.
Yeah.
What can each of you do? What spells do you have? What abilities do you have? How can you make them work together? Like for example, Adi's character Lukal threw down a grease spell, which creates this oily surface. Now, technically, Khan, this is actually against the rules. We shouldn't have allowed this, but you did. It's fine.
I did. I allowed it.
You allowed it, which is again, it's fine. It's up to it's the DM's discretion.
Yeah.
But he dropped down the grease spell. I threw a firebolt at it, and it ignited and killed, did oodles amount of damage. So I'm like, synergy like that is amazing. The fighter or the paladin has positioned perfectly that nobody can get past him. Therefore, they're all engaged with him. They are locked in a nice little group. Just throw an AoE spell on them, or area of effect spell, I should say. And it just does so much work. It's super cool. So it's stuff like that matters when you're an action economy. So the fighter will go, I run up, I attack, or I run up and I hold my attack. The moment something comes within range of me, I then attack. So you can actually, that's something you can do on your turn as well. You can hold your action for a trigger. And you have to tell the DM what the trigger is. Like, I can't just say I'm holding my sword. I'm like, cool, you're holding a sword. Well done.
Holding your sword.
have a cookie, It's like, no, tell them why. So you're holding an action for what? What's your trigger? Trigger will be, the moment I kick this door down, if I see a hostile, I will slash at it. I'm like, okay, cool. So open the door, kick it open, swat. You hit an innocent person. Whatever. My point is, it was just some poor old lady who was just behind the door, and you managed to you just stuck your sword in her. But it's stuff like that, right? So position. I mean, more than action economy, I think strategy is the most important thing we should talk about. Actually, in terms of your positioning and where you should be and where you should not be. If you're a squishy character like a spellcaster, don't be up front.
Yeah, stay away.
Stay back.
Be as far from the immediate melee combat as much as possible.
Yeah, but if I'm your DM, I'm gonna hunt you down, bro. Mainly because the moment, okay, some monsters are stupid.
Yeah.
Actually, most monsters are stupid. They're just gonna run at the first person they see. But there are some creatures who have the intelligence to know that's a spellcaster. I'm gonna go take the motherfucker out. Because spellcasters are easily the most dangerous characters to be. Like, as a player, facing a spellcaster, I shit myself every single time. I shit myself.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what they have, we don't know what they can do, but whatever they do, it's gonna hurt. Take them out as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's the best advice you can get. Like, the moment you know there's a spellcaster you're fighting against, focus that character as much as possible and take it down as quickly as possible. Especially if you get the hint that it's a really powerful spellcaster. Like, you don't want that person living very long. Yeah. You want to get rid of that person immediately.
Like in the Descent of Avernus, we nearly had a TPK. Because some of our players didn't target the spellcaster.
Yeah.
Khan threw a fireball at us, nearly killed us all. But two of us managed to survive. And we killed the bitch who shot us. And then we all struggling as best as we could to pick people up.
Yeah.
Oh, it was woof. That was so stressful.
That was so stressful. And I was also in such a dazed state of mind. I actually, after the end of the session, the next day rather, I was rewatching everything and I went through, I opened my fantasy grounds, went through that section, her section, and I was like, oh, I actually went easy on them. Why was I farting so bad? But yeah, it was really brutal for them because she was alive for 2 rounds. And yeah, she was ready to book it. She knew she was outnumbered. Even though she was powerful, she was ready to book it. And oof, that would have been gnarly.
But yeah, so it's about understanding the battlefield. Where can I stand? Where can I be? Where can I be for the most effectiveness possible? Where can I do the most damage? Where can I do the most help?
Yeah.
It's very important to know these things. It's super important.
Yeah, and it's not anything super hard to think of. It's very basic. It's very basic positioning. In the sense, you don't have to be well versed in strategy games or know about strategy and warfare or anything in general. No. If you say, for example, the DM's thrown you into this massive hall and y'all are fighting targets who are probably 50 feet away from you all, and y'all know this room y'all are fighting in is huge. That's all. Just look at the map. The DM has given you the map. The maps are there for a reason. Even if it's theater of the mind, the DM will explain the room to the T. He will give you every dimension you need in that room to understand your positioning. But most of the time, there's a map. There's a physical map there for everyone to see. Plan your moves, plan your positioning. So don't think, oh man, I'm probably not going to. No, it's very basic. Just think straight. Think simple. You have to survive. You have to get out of this fight. What can I do? Okay, I'm ranged. Cool, then I will stay far back since I know I can hit them, and I'll probably find a place maybe I can hide and hit from. So I don't have to be seen at the same time. It's very simple things. It's very, very simple things. Just the easiest, what I do is personally, whenever in any game as a player, I immediately throw myself physically in there. And I don't know if the guys always notice on camera, whenever I'm in combat, my brain and my mouth is always open, because my brain is always I'm just in there. I throw myself in there and I'm like, okay, okay, wow, this is quite a crowded room. Shit, I really need to find space away from these guys. Or unless I'm playing like Murin, I'm like, okay, it's a crowded room. I'm gonna charge at these guys and collect them around me, so I know my party members can focus them. I have them rounded up and grouped up on me. They can throw all their stuff at me, and they know even if I take line of fire, I'm a hardy guy. I can take it. So it's basic things. Don't think like, oh man, I probably need to like have a solid idea or strategy. No, not at all. It's very simple. It's very basic. And this also circles around in a big way to Paul's infamous line: read your sheet. Like, it's very important, guys. Like, that's all you need to do as a player. You just have to read your sheet. No one's telling you get up every morning and read your sheet. No. When you know you have your session, just like if you're playing online, hop onto the platform you're playing, open your sheet half an hour, 15 minutes before the game also, or even 5 minutes before the game also. Read your sheet. Just go through everything. Trust me, you might play a character for a year. A week is enough for you to forget what that character can or cannot do.
Yeah,
it happens to the most experienced of players. Like, it happens to anyone. Hey, we're human at the end of the day, right? Like, you can't expect to like suddenly like, oh damn, yeah, I know everything about my character, I don't need to look at my sheet. No, don't be that person. Always read your sheet, because the moment you read your sheet before the game starts, you're already set and ready to go. You're back in the zone, you're back into your character. It kind of puts you into the seat. So say it's soon after you start the session, the DM suddenly like, okay, roll for initiative, and you're like, why? Oh yeah, because these guys are coming to attack you for whatever reason. Now you're not in that fix like, oh my god, let me open my sheet. Oh, what was this feature? Oh god, what does this feature do again? See, you're making it harder for yourself to prepare for the fight now, because you've gone back to the stone age of reading, of wondering what your character can and cannot do. So read your sheets.
Yeah.
Read your sheets
I
before your games.
The amount of time I've spent just going, I'm like, just you. Like, so sometimes I know my character sheets better than my players do. I'm like, are you sure something you can do? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, that's your turn, I suppose. Because I'm sitting there going, I'm like, you guys have, this is perfect. In my head, I know that you guys have all the shit at your disposal. Mm-hmm. This fight should be a fucking walk in the park. Yeah. No, you didn't read your sheet. I'm like, fucking hell, dude.
Yeah, always be in touch with what your character can and cannot do.
Yeah.
Or let's say even in combat, right? The round is started. Maybe you're not first in the order. Like if you're middle in the order also, you have some time. Read your sheet, prepare. At the same time, keep a ear out, listen to what the DM is saying, what he's narrating about this combat, what that person is attacking you with. And you can ask your DM also. Always ask your DM. Remember, DMs will not give everything out. We can't immediately tell you, oh, he's giving you bleed damage. No. You should ask. I always have that habit of asking every time I get hit, no matter which characters. I'm like, what do they hit me with? Like what the thing? And the DM will tell you.
Yeah.
Unless it's something that's unknown, like, that's bizarre or something or unheard of, then probably, depending on the DM's discretion, he might make you do a check to find out to see if your character actually knows about this method of combat or whatever it is this character is doing. Yeah. But otherwise, ask your DM. Ask them. They will always tell you. Yeah, he used his sword and he plunged it into you, bro. Yeah. You've got a stab wound in your stomach now. Yeah. Cool. Good to know.
I mean, one thing to keep in mind also, remember, the battlefield is constantly evolving.
Oh yeah.
So I can understand that initially it can be extremely overwhelming, because say you're facing up against six combatants, there are 6 of you, and each combatant comes to either of you guys. You're like, okay, so they've come at me, or depending on what the initiative is, like which point in the initiative am I? For example, I play spellcasters now a lot more than I do melee classes. So as a spellcaster, I immediately go, okay, what is the situation on the scene? Okay, my paladin is up front. He's got 2 guys he's engaged with. My artificer's on the side there. He's dealing with 1 person at the moment. Where am I most effective?
Yeah.
But then the thing,
Yeah.
what ends up happening is suddenly, I'm going to be next. There's an enemy before me. He comes at me. That immediately throws all my plans into disarray. I'm like, I can't cast anything. If I cast anything and I don't run away, I'm going to get my ass whooped. Because I'm a fucking squishy spellcaster and this guy's got a big fuck off sword. He's going to skewer me. So immediately you got to start thinking of what your options are in combat. Do I move here? Where do I stand? Do I stand here to either maybe cause a distraction, or I can immediately throw out a sleep spell, or I throw out grease or slow, or I do charm person, make the guy stop attacking me. There are lots of things, and so most new players, myself as a DM, whenever they're making character, I sit with them, especially being a spellcaster. I sit with them and figure out what their spells can do. Like, what spells do you want? I want X, Y, and Z. Why do you want those spells? I want to know why you want those spells. Because then it forces, I don't want to say forces sounds so bad, but it does. It forces players to think for a second and read.
Think. Yeah. No, forces is actually the right term for it. It does force you to actually think and read. Oh wait, he's asking me why. Why is he asking me that? See, that automatically you're like, it makes you also curious to be like, oh wait, what does the spell actually do again? And like, that leads you to again look into your character, and then after that you're like, oh, that's what it does. Okay, yeah, this is why I want it, so I can do this maybe. And yeah, your DM will be like, sure, cool.
Okay, so
again, your DM won't hold you back.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a classic example for you. Witch Bolt. Do not pick up that fucking spell. Witch Bolt is by far, it's a level 1 spell. It does a shit ton of damage. It is the worst spell ever. Mainly, if you read it, this is so come at action economy. You cast it, it does the damage, and they are now tethered to you as long as they're 60 feet from you. Here's the thing. They step back one step, Witch Bolt is over.
Yeah.
And you have to use your action on every turn to inflict that damage. So that means if that guy runs out of your range, your spell is over. It's finished. It's done.
Yeah.
That spell has gone for a waste. So you have to actually stay within range of them and use your action every turn to hit one person. When instead you can use something like sleep and affect the entire room. Or something like fireball and affect the whole room. So it's one of those. So action economy is so important in that direction. Like, think about what you can do on your turn. Okay, so I am going to cast Firebolt at this guy. If this guy comes within melee range of me, I'm going to use my bonus action to use Misty Step to teleport away from him out of danger, so I can't get hit. Think about know your character. Like Con said, like I keep saying, and Con just said. Hashtag read your sheet. I am going to make a t-shirt. I swear to God.
Yes. Yes.
Read your sheet. Be aware of what your character can do. Because it's super important. Because in the middle of combat, like sometimes players panic. Players always panic. Yeah. And that's okay. I get it. I totally understand. Conrad has died more times because he panicked.
Yeah, I panicked. Yeah.
There were moments of absolute like, oh my fucking God, what do I do? I'm like, look at you. People are stressing out. And it's fine because it adds to the game. It adds to the game. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I love those moments. But at the same time, it's like, it's not your turn. Look at your sheet. Just read. What spell or what ability do I have that can be clutch in the situation to save people?
Yeah.
It's stuff like that which is super, super cool and super fun. And so, just speak like there are so many spells which are trash, like Find Traps. Don't use that spell, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. I learned the hard way.
Yeah. So, essentially, keep in mind your positioning. Again, this is stuff that you will learn as you play. I don't expect you as a new player to come into the game and go, I know what the fuck's going on. No, I don't expect that of you. But at the same time is, if there are veterans at the table with you, or whatever, playing the game with you, talk to them. Like for Adi, Shreyas, and myself, who are in Avernus for Conrad's game, we have 3 essential newbies who never played the game before. So we had to explain to them how positioning works. But then we don't explain to them as combat's happening, because that's metagaming. After the fight is over or the session's over, we go, bro, if you had taken one step back, that fight would have been so much faster. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, dude, if you stood there, they can't get past you without getting hit. They're just going to clump up, and we could have done a lot more work. Like, there was a point where I'm just waiting for these fuckers to come up the stairs, but the paladin has blocked the stairs, so they can't come up, and I can't see them, and I can't hit him. So I wasted 2 turns doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's also very important that you speak to your fellow party members, know what they can do, how they can do it, what they might require you to do. But of course, I mean, again, at the end of the day, you also have to choose. Like, okay, I'm going to do this now, and you guys can even have a signal amongst your party members. We're doing fiery death, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Or the infamous Fluffernutter.
Yeah, if you watch Critical Role, Fluffernutter.
Fluffernutter.
So it's stuff like that that really matters in a situation like that.
Yeah.
Think.
Yeah.
When it's not your turn, think.
Another example was when we were in the castle in Storm King's Thunder, and the first round of combat, and basically this countess, she had held up Kriegel. She was holding Kriegel, and my character Zerja, she was like, oh god, I need to get him out of her grasp even if it takes my life, right? She's that sort of a person. She puts the others first before herself. She's that sort of a person. So she was racking her brain. How do I do this? How do I do this? So I asked Paul, even though she's holding Kriegel, if I get close, can I touch him? He was like, no, he's out of reach. Because out of game, I was going to go for freedom of movement in hope that would get him out of her grasp easily. Because if it's non-magical, he can easily get out of a grapple without doing anything. He can use 5 feet of movement on his turn to just get out of her grasp. But I couldn't do that. So I was racking my brain, and then I remembered, I was like, of course. And then I don't know, okay, you just see her clutching her holy symbol again. She puts her hands out and she shouts to Kriegel, just trust me, Kriegel, I'll bring you back. I cast banishment on him.
Yeah.
And even Paul was like, what? I was like, yeah, I cast banishment on him. And everyone was like, whoa. Like, it just caught everyone off guard, because I remembered that in my spell. I was like, yes, I know, I can do that. And again, the only reason is because I knew what she could do, like what she can do. And it's just that in the moment I found the immediate fix for freedom of movement. I was like, okay, freedom of movement not possible. Cool, let's do this then. Let's do it.
That banishment was massive. Like, holy shit. I was like, that is so cool. I didn't think of it. I did not think of that. But damn, that's so cool. Just yeeted him to a different dimension, and she's like,
Yeah.
She got angry, of course, because her boy toy disappeared.
Disappeared. And he was chilling in some other plane, just in thin air, chilling.
Yeah, he's just like,
For an entire round after that.
It's like, okay, cool, I guess. So, you know, it's things like that you can do on your turn, which is so cool. And it's strategy. It's super important. Okay,
Yeah.
I say super important. I mean, this is me going, like, speaking, like, past Paul would be like, fucking, I just do whatever the fuck I want. No. Again, that's the usual new player attitude. It's like, fuck, I don't know what to do. No. It's like, just take a second. Just read your sheet. Know what you can do. People tend to forget some of the features that they have.
Yeah.
You know, and fair enough. In the moment of panic, you're just like, I don't know what to do. Help me. I'm like, I can't help you, dude. Just look at your sheet. all the information of what you can or cannot do is on your sheet. Read it, and you can figure it out. And also, if you're picking a class, it's do your due diligence. Read up on the class.
Yeah.
Understand how the mechanics work. Like, initially, I'm patient. Don't get me wrong. But after a point, I will get a little angry with you.
It's fair also, because after a point, say you're like down so many sessions in the campaign and a player still doesn't know his sheet, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like, why are you even still playing then? Like,
Yeah.
because people need to understand, like, you're not playing alone. There are others who are putting time into this, time and, like, just mental energy into this. You need to respect that. Don't hold back someone else's playtime, or don't ruin everyone else's playtime and the DM's playtime and setup and everything, just because you've been that person who doesn't give a fuck about reading his character and just be like, yeah, I'll do what I want in the moment.
Like, no, I mean, like, you're not helping your team. You're not.
Yeah.
Again, it's a team effort. It's a team game. You're playing together with people to reach a goal.
Yeah.
Don't be a problem player. Read your sheet. Understand how your class works. Again, Avernus, for example. I got very upset with Ollie. I got super angry with him, and that was me stepping over your toes, and I do apologize for that moment.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, but I got so angry with him because I'm like, dude, just fucking read. We do, like Con sets up the game for anyone to log in like half an hour before the game starts.
Yeah.
You can log in and sit and chill and talk. Use that time to look over your sheet, man. Understand how your class mechanics work. I literally stopped. We were in the middle of a fight. I stopped the game. I'm like, Ollie, this is what you can do on your turn. You can attack, and then bonus action, you can attack again. You can use your flurry of blows for 1 key point to attack even one more time. So you make 3 attacks in one turn. Okay? He's like, okay, yeah, okay. I'm like, fucking, I got so angry. Because nothing infuriates me more.
But thanks to that, now he's learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now in the last time when you all were fighting, like he learned. Yeah. And he started using it. He's like, okay, action, I'm using quarterstaff. Bonus action, I'm going to use unarmed strike. I was like, there you go. Finally, he's playing his monk.
Yeah, get your damage in, bro. Do your shit. Do your cool monk shit.
Yeah.
Don't fucking cast light on a stool and then throw the stool. it does nothing. He spent 2 turns doing that, and we're like, fuck, he could have killed somebody in that time. You know?
That was one of the most hilarious moments for me in D&D ever.
Oh, man.
So just for context, listeners, so it was this fight in the tavern where they were talking to this character who they caught gambling and who had information for them, which this captain of the Flaming Fist told them, hey, go meet her, she'll give you all information. So all that stuff went down, and she warned them, hey, there are some people who are coming looking for me, I heard. They might show up any moment. Help me, please. We could help each other. And they were like, sure, yeah, we'll help you. You help us. Sure. And I gave them time. Like, out of game. I paused the game. I was like, before I paused the game, I told them, okay, y'all hear the voices coming from the ground floor. And y'all get the sense these are the people who are coming for her. And I paused the game. I was like, guys, strategize now. I'm giving you all the time you'll have now, at least on 5-10 minutes. Easy on 5-10 minutes I gave them. Strategize. And I just took the back seat. I had all my prayer, I took the back seat. And Ollie had this idea of lighting his stool, lighting up a stool with a light cantrip, throwing it at the staircase where these people are going to come up to them from. It's the only entrance to this first floor. In hopes it would blind them.
Conceptually, great idea.
Great idea. If it wasn't the light cantrip.
Yeah.
He did not read what the light cantrip is about. So for people who don't know, the light cantrip is basically you can touch yourself or an object, give it dim light. Dim enough, like bright enough that it brights up 10 feet around you and then 20 feet of dim light. So it's enough to light up a dark place where there's no light and you can see. You can see peacefully. He thought it would blind them. So when I came to his turn, he's like, okay, I'm going to do that. Can I do that? And I shouldn't have allowed him to do it because using that cantrip was an action. But I let him pick up the stool, do it, so he would learn a lesson the hard way. I was like, yeah, okay. You pick up the stool, you lit it up now. What are you doing? He's like, I throw it. I'm like, okay, you're throwing it where? At the staircase, at the entrance of the staircase in hopes it would grow. I was like, cool, roll a dexterity check. He rolled fair enough. He's like, okay, you fling it, you see it go to the staircase and it tumbles a little. He's like, oh, what happens? What happens? I was like, you'll find out. You'll find out. And then it came to the baddie's turn. And those guys just ran up and came up and he was like, what happened to my stool? I was like, they just saw a stool come rolling down. They probably ignored it and came up. He's like, I thought they'll blind them. I was like, read the light cantrip, Polly. And then he was like, oh, I was like, yeah.
I mean, again, his idea is great. Here's the problem.
Great.
Here's the problem. The tavern is well lit, so there's no way to blind them. Second, it's 2 actions, so 1 action to cast the cantrip, and then another action to throw the stool.
Throw it. Yeah.
So, but can't let him do it, and it's just like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work, bruh.
Yeah, I let him do it because in my head I'm like, this is sad. But so yeah, do it. Do it. Because in my head, how I do these things to make players realize it, like it's probably a dumb plan, is actually let them do it. Do it. And then you'll see what happens.
Like if it was me, I'd be like, okay, you cast a cantrip. He's like, okay, I'm gonna throw it. I'm like, cool, on your next turn. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah. Use your action. You already use your action to cast a spell. So. Sorry, bruh. I mean, you cast it and you can pick it up. You're holding it now. You're holding a very brightly lit stool. Amazing. Now, next turn you can throw it. I'm just like when Khan did that, I got annoyed. I was like, fuck it, it's Khan's game. It's Khan's game. Let him do what he wants. It's his rules. But it's stuff like that. I'm just like, ah!
Yeah.
Just read your sheet.
Read your sheet. We sound like broken records. Fuck you, Paul.
Yeah.
You made me a broken record.
Yo.
But it's true.
Facts.
It's true. It's the gospel of D&D. Read your sheet. It's the gospel.
Like, I can't tell you how many times reading your sheet would just save you. Like, honestly.
Yeah. And again, new players, don't be like, oh my god, especially if you're listening to this and you're just starting your first campaign, don't get stressed and be like, oh my god, I need to learn it. We're not telling you memorize everything to the T.
Yeah.
Just read it.
Yeah.
And it's okay in your first few sessions if you still mess up in combat, even though you've gone through your sheet, because you're getting used to the mechanics and everything about D&D, right? So don't stress yourself out or beat yourself up. Oh my god, I need to nail this. No. But as you keep playing and keep getting better, don't stop reading your sheet.
Yeah.
Maintain that. Continue reading your sheet. Continue reading. Like I said, even the most experienced of players who probably played D&D from the inception of D&D have this problem. You will have this issue where you can forget things about your character, and especially if you get into it, like how Paul, myself, and some of our other like friends who are into it now, you're gonna join so many campaigns. You have so many characters. It's hard for you to remember each one. You probably remember the basics, the basic action economy of this, but remember each character has that really cool special element that they bring into the party, that they bring into the story or bring into combat also. That's what you need to read your sheet for. Like always going through your character sheet for that particular campaign. Do it. If you've played the character for 5 years also, does not matter. Read it.
Yeah, no, because
read it again.
Yeah, like for example, like Farland, the first campaign we did. Every time I'd be the first one to the game, even before Steve shows up, and I'm going through my spell list. Because see, okay, so for example, spellcasters, when we do spellcaster episodes, we'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
But essentially, you get to pick a bunch of spells that you get to have access to. Now, every spellcaster has a limitation of how many spells that they can have active at the same time. This is mainly for druids, clerics, wizards, bards. And I think that's it. Socks and warlocks can cast whatever the fuck they want. But these 4 classes, and artificers also, these 5 classes, you have to prepare your spells for the day. So you take a long rest, and the next morning, your DM gives all the casters a moment to prepare your spells for a day. So you don't have access to your entire spell list. You pick and choose what spells you're going to, have ready for the day. So, for example, let's say you're doing a stealth mission. So in this moment, it's important that like one of you has Pass Without a Trace, which is a fantastic second level spell. You have that prepared, ready to go, which means whenever anyone rolls stealth checks, they get to add a +10 to their stealth roll, which is fantastic. It softens your footsteps, your voices, everything, and makes you even more stealthy. So it's very important for you to prepare spells that are required for you on a daily basis. It was always important to read your spell list. Spellcasters, anybody, remember to read your spell list. Like, read your sheets has never been more important than when you're playing a spellcaster. Know what your spells can do, how to use them, where the application matters, and be careful about what you use. Like, again, if you have questions about a spell, talk to the DM, or you can go online as well and Google and go, how does this spell work? Trust me, there are millions of people who've asked the same question. I still, to this day, I still Google, how does this spell work in a location?
Like, and it's good to ask those things in general with your DM also, because sometimes your DM might rule it a different way. So it's always good to double check with your DM also.
Yeah, like Khan asked me about the whole. Like Khan asked me about what, can I banish myself to my own plane of existence? I'm like, sure, for a minute, but you won't know where. but you won't know where you end up.
Yeah.
Like I had to Google that shit. I'm like, can you cast banishment on yourself? You could, but there are rules depending on how that works.
Yeah.
Like if you're an extra planar creature, you cast banishment on yourself, then okay, cool. You go back to your realm of existence. But you don't know where you're gonna end up. You might end up in buttfuck nowhere, or you might end up at the bottom of the ocean. Who knows? But it's one of those things that I had to actually look up myself, because I wasn't sure exactly how the mechanics worked in that regard. I spoke to a DM who's smarter than me, Steve, my DM. And I asked him, like, so how does this work? He's like, I'd rule it X, Y, and Z. It's like, okay, that's fair. So at the end of the day, we also have that opportunity to go, I will let that work.
Yeah.
Or I'll be like, no. I mean, because like you banish yourself, you end up at the bottom of the ocean. You're not gonna stay there. You're wearing heavy armor. You're probably gonna sink.
Yeah.
And in fact, the pressure of the fucking water will just crush you instantly. But it's that thing of knowing how to prepare yourself for the day. Like clerics, make sure you at least have your healing spells available.
Yeah. Clerics, man. I mean,
unless you don't want to play a healer.
Yeah.
But my point is, think about it. Like druids and clerics have the worst time.
I was just gonna say that druids and clerics, I've played both those classes and I love them so much because they have access to so many spells. But then comes the bane of having access of so many spells that you're like, oh my god, which one do I prepare for today? Which one do I remove for today? Will this actually work? And again, this will make it easier for you if you keep constant, if you constantly read your sheet and know the basic action economy or spell economy that your caster can and cannot do. It makes it a little easier on you. Like, I'm not going to say it's like, it's just going to be a breeze prepping for clerics and druids. Oh, trust me. They are the two classes who you really have to think about what spell you want for according to the situation you might be in. For example, if you're going hunting for an object, locate object is probably a good idea to have. It's probably a good idea to have. Speaking of which, our last Storm King's Thunder episode, I was wanting to prepare it, but then I asked Paul. The reading on locate object, it just says if you're familiar with the object, you can locate it. So I asked Paul because the Oracle kind of gave us these messages in our heads. So I was like, does that mean I'm familiar with it? And Paul Rudery is like, no, I would say you're not familiar with it. I was like, so then in my head, I was like, yeah, locate object is not going to be useful for me. Instead, I'll take this because this might save our asses at the end of the day. It's okay. Doesn't matter if we have to find the object. It takes us a little time to find it. Sure, fine. But at least I'm prepping something else now, which at least will get us out easier, Yeah.
It's kind of nuts. I mean, again, so for example, preparing your spells for the day can also work out with your downtime activities. Say you're going to do reconnaissance. Like for example, like these guys on the airship, they are scouting the castle. They saw the enemies that they were able to do during their downtime. They're scouting and trying to do reconnaissance, try to understand how many things they're facing up against, what they might be up against. Immediately, the casters can go, okay, I can prepare X, Y, and Z spell for certain situations that might be required. Like these guys were coming up with some amazing plans for spell preparations and how they're going to, do their stuff. They've got scrolls of polymorph, all these things, which is great. I'm like, fantastic. They've got this fucking amazing plan. I want to see this plan go into action. And so they're like, okay, so if I use this, I'm concentrating on this spell, therefore I can't cast this later. They're immediately thinking of their action economy before they're even going into motion.
Yeah.
Which is huge. It's great. It's fantastic. I love it when people do stuff like that. Because you're thinking just beyond the next turn. You're thinking 3 turns ahead, which is good to know. Because like I was saying, sometimes a plan, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to plan this spell for this, maybe this moment, it'll come in super clutch. But then the battlefield changes. You've got to be able to change on a dime, immediately go, fuck, that plan went out. What's my backup plan? What do I do
Or
instead?
you use that spell and there was a caster you didn't notice and that guy counterspelled it.
Counterspell.
Our entire round just went because, hey, no fault of your own. But that round is compromised.
100%.
But now if you've already planned, say, like a round ahead, be like, okay, if this fucks up, I can probably move away or something. Even if you've planned for, like, movement if something goes wrong in the next round, you're ready to do that. And you're not panicking, be like, oh god, he counterspelled that, oh shit, what do I do now? No, you're not panicking. You're like, okay, now I know I just have to run the next round. Yeah, either we run or we die.
I mean, at one point, this will be super evil to do, but only once, I want to counterspell a healing spell.
Oh, you bitch.
It's super evil. It's super evil.
Oh, you bitch.
That is the most evil thing on the planet. But honestly, I want to do it once. Just be like, this is last death save. One healing word can save you.
Oh,
Counterspell
gonna hunt
that.
you down, Paul. She will come into reality. You will find Loxodon standing over your bed, boy.
DMs never do it. Never. I mean, see, DMs, it makes a lot of sense to do that shit because it's super evil. But at the same time, it is the worst feeling a player can ever get. You'll feel you'll feel bad about it. Trust me on that.
Yeah.
Because I thought about it and I was like, I want to do it, but I'm going to feel like shit for doing it. Counterspell a healing spell, dude. That would be stupid. It's awesome, but it's super evil. Like if you guys want to play like a really evil guy, counterspell your players' spells.
Yeah.
Because players can do it. God. Why the fuck can't they do it? Remember, whatever players can do, the DM can do as well. Keep that in mind. Don't piss off your DM.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's things like that are super important. Read your sheet. Make sure, again, stuck record. It's always the fact of the matter, but know how your spells work, because sometimes a spell you didn't think about can come in super clutch. Like the moonbeam from Venlin to turn the werewolf back.
That was amazing.
Super clutch.
That was amazing.
And she read her sheet. It wasn't her turn. Yeah. She's sitting there. I can see Prissy in the webcam. She is intently, stressfully reading her spell sheet and going, what can I do here? And that was amazing. Like, you could do that also yourself, but
my character, I was panicking, and in character I was panicking because my daughter is a freaking werewolf now. So when Wendlin sent that, like, shouted out to Zerja and do it, and she was like, why didn't I think of that? Do it.
It was nuts. I didn't see it coming. It was super cool. I was like, fuck, that's amazing. Yes, that works. Oh my god, that's so cool.
Oh god. And another thing, like, coming back to being in combat, being in the moment of combat, always pay attention to what the enemies are doing. Pay close attention to what they're doing. Those things can give you hints to weaknesses of theirs, or maybe even just show off what they're actually strong in, and might give you an idea and be like, okay, so this character seems to be good with their sword, right? If I have, say, supposing you're a caster and you're like, I have heat metal, what if I deprive him of his sword?
Yeah.
Hey, that dude will probably just drop it, and then he's just going full fist for the rest of for a couple of rounds, and that probably buys you all time for probably your melee character who's engaged with it to kick his ass and not get hurt at the same time.
Yeah, or just cast heat metal on their metal
On their armor.
They can't take it off.
Yeah.
Because if they take it off, their AC drops.
Yeah.
Which means they're easier to kill. Or they keep it on and they attack at disadvantage, which makes even better for you. So it's so just like think about what you can do in combat, and it's fantastic the kind of stuff that you have access to. Spellcasters can do so many things, which most people will be like, fuck, I want to do that. It's like, no, then you should have built a spellcaster.
And hey, not leaving out the martial classes, trust me guys, like there are so many cool things you can do as a martial class. Like, of course, when you think martial class, you immediately, I'm going to go in and hit this person with my sword. Cool, that's basic action economy as a melee class. Yes, you have to go in front and you attack with whatever weapon you have. If you have a ranged weapon, cool, you're staying a little ranged and you're attacking with it, sure. Now, let's say you're a barbarian, right? And now this has been happening to Murren in the last few campaigns, like in the last few sessions, because the casters now know they can haste him and he will make it count. He in character has understood what it does, so he's gotten better. So what Murren does is he doesn't go in rampage mode anymore. He thinks. He looks at every single character. I constantly ask Adi, what is this person hitting with me? What is this person? How does this person look? Okay, I'll be like, okay, cool. So I have an idea of what each one's hitting me with, how badly they might be hurt also. So I don't run and hit one target alone. And especially in the last session, it's exactly what happened. We were saving a character, like one character, an ally of ours, from getting beat up by these goons. And I ran in and I had 3 guys surround me. So I was like, okay, I'm hasted. I took my attack on the first guy recklessly, because as a barbarian, you want a reckless attack. You want that advantage on your attack. Cool, yeah, sure. The next attack on you also is at advantage, but you're a barbarian. You know you can take the hit. So
and plus, because of haste, it's a +2 to AC as well.
It's a +2 to AC, exactly. So Murren, now knowing the power of this spell that his friend gives him every time, he's like, I'm going to make the ultimate use of this. He smacks the first guy, and I stopped and I asked Adi, okay, first attack on him. Is he still up? He's like, he's up, but he looks really hurt. I was okay. Second normal attack on him again. He's like, okay, that guy is down. I was like, next guy, go to him. I was like, how does he look, Adi? Does he look like hurt? He's like, he looks okay. He's not too badly hurt. I was like, okay, reckless on that guy as well. Smacked him and I crit his ass. That guy almost dropped. Now I'm already thinking of the next round, those 3 attacks. I was like, okay, if no one is taking them out, I'm just gonna knock this chap down who's almost dead. I'll probably use one action to prone him. I'll just kick him with my foot and prone him down, so I know my buddy, the paladin, can come and stab him at advantage. And the guy who hasn't been hit behind me, I'll take his ass out. So I made use of that. Even though I'm a character who just goes slashing things, I didn't just concentrate on just one target. I looked around me and I was like, yeah, let's keep an eye on each one. Let me see. And then I waited for that round to get over. And thankfully, my party members took out those guys. So I was like, the main caster who's causing commotion. I dashed to him. I hit him twice with my normal action. Third action, because he was planning to run. I was like, Adi, I want to use my hasted action to prone this guy. I want to give him an uppercut with my knee, and I want him to go down on the ground with my leg on him, holding him there. He's like, okay, strength check with your haste action. I won that. That guy got bonked. He is on the ground with my foot on him. He couldn't run anywhere. And that helped the other person come soon on their turn, finish his ass. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Or say for example, door, room other side, full of baddies. Barbarian walks up to the door and blocks the door. They can't get past him.
Yeah.
And here's the best part. They're in a room. You're a wizard or a warlock or whatever spellcast you want with a powerful AoE spell. Throw that spell into the room.
Yes.
Turn it into a furnace. Whatever you want. Just fucking do it. It's like immediately the barbarian has positioned himself perfectly so that everyone else gets easy pickings of everybody else. It's so good. It's so good. Positioning is so important. Understanding where you can be, what you can be. Flanking, for example. To be fair, in Farland, we've removed flanking. It's no longer a thing that we're using. Because there are actually 300 million ways you can get advantage. Because at the end of the day, like for example, like your character, you have Fairy Fire as a spell. That's always prepared.
Yep.
Are you ever using it? No.
Nope.
When technically speaking, that should be your first spell you cast.
Yeah.
So
But I never use that spell.
Exactly.
I never use
because
that
there
spell.
are enough and more ways for people to get advantage.
Exactly.
So my point is, I'm like, I should remove the flanking rule, and it makes you guys use things because some spells go to for example, like for Karn, Fairy Fire is always prepared for you, right?
Yeah. Twilight.
So he never has to prepare the spell, so he can prepare other spells. So
Because,
immediately Fairy Fire the room.
She's going to advantage that guy.
Yeah.
And she's very tactical and she flanks. She's always flanking. So I'm like, no, let her do that. I'll concentrate on something else. I won't use my slot for this. I save my slots to keep people up and alive.
Yeah.
Bane is the most I do. My thing, Zerja is always about keeping everyone alive. Keep them alive.
But the thing is, like, when someone has something like Fairy Fire, I'm like, I'm going to use that fucking spell because it's so good. Because then immediately, Mishara doesn't have to use Reckless to make her get advantage. She attacks with advantage anyway, which gives her a chance to get even more crits. So I'm just like, it saves them using their abilities to get hurt potentially more. So immediately, you giving her advantage means she no longer has to use Reckless, which means she doesn't get hit with advantage attacks. So all in all, think about how you're going to do your stuff, right? So I'm thinking about removing the flanking rule from our game, but I'll discuss that with everybody else. Mainly because I want you guys to use your fucking abilities, man. Goddamn.
Of course. Damn it, making me use my spell slots, Paul. Why?
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, making you use spells which will be super effective against everything you face. Fairy Fire will always be a good spell. From level 1 to level 20, Fairy Fire is nuts. Use that fucking spell. It's super good. Because it immediately gives everyone an advantage, and people who can turn invisible can no longer turn invisible. It is insane. Which is why when you were facing the countess, I'm like, yeah, cool. No Fairy Fire. Cool. she goes invisible and disappears. I'm like, okay.
I think I was down also by then. Yeah. Before she ran up, I was down, I think also. Yeah.
And Bishara was stuck in Wall of Force, which is too funny.
Yeah. That was amazing.
She wasted her age. She was so good.
As a player, I was like, oh, Paul, you bastard. But then as a DM, I was like, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Take inspiration point from a fellow DM.
Yeah. I fucking saw her spell list and I was like, yes, Ishara is no longer a problem. Because Ishara just one-shots everything.
Yeah.
She does stupid amounts of damage. I'm like, yoink, you can't do shit right now.
Yeah. Like, that's even more reason why Zerja never bothered to waste even a first level slot for Fairy Fire, because she knows her daughter is fucking effective in combat.
Yeah.
Like, she just knows, like, she'll take the hits and she'll still fucking come out of it like kick ass.
Yeah. But the moment when someone casts Wall of Force on you, you're like, well, shit. For 10 minutes, I can't do anything.
Yeah. And sadly, like, none of us had anything to counter that immediately.
Yeah, because none
not
of you
powerful enough.
Yeah, because did Kriegel not pick up Counterspell?
I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
Okay, spellcasters, if you have access to counterspell,
Please
get
pick it up.
counterspell. I swear
It is
to
a must.
I swear
It
to
is a
God, do not
It is a must.
any caster, if you get access to that spell, fucking pick it up. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're just stupid.
Oh, it's clutch.
It's
clutch,
super
guys.
clutch. The amount of times
Jeez.
I've been able to like counterspell that. It's like, well, shit. As a player, you can ruin a DM's day with counterspell.
Yeah.
The DM's got this amazing badass casting this fucking amazing spell. Counterspell. It's like, shit! Because monsters have limited spell slots and limited action economy. Players have more than monsters do. So the moment you counterspell that guy, you're like, well, shit, that guy's lost a high level spell.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, well, shit, fuck. God damn it. Like,
Man.
I'm about to hit you with Disintegrate. This is going to do 100 damage, will turn you to dust. Counterspell that.
Counterspell.
It's like, fuck! my only level 7 spell slot is gone. God damn it. My monster can't do shit anymore. So like when my party decided to have no intelligent spellcaster, I was like, well, this should be fun. They can't identify.
We're probably the only party so far without an intelligent spellcaster, right?
Yeah. You get all charisma and wisdom.
Now that you think of it, holy shit!
Yeah. None of you
Wow.
have in saves, nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I need to work on some some monsters to get them some
Oh, you
Dasha,
busted.
some Dasha spells.
Oh, you busted.
Hey, Tasha's has made it good for you and for me.
Tasha's has made it amazing. Tasha's has just made it amazing. Oh God.
Yeah. But I think that will be the end of our episode for today.
Yeah.
Is there anything more you want to add to that, or?
No, I mean, like, to sum it up, guys, that's basically what action economy is about in general. On the whole, that's what it is about. It's strategizing, it's knowing what your characters can and cannot do before the game even starts. Also, all that comes into play for your action economy, because at the end of the day, if you don't know what your character can or cannot do, your action economy is just bust.
Yeah.
You have no clue what you're doing. You're just like going with it on the fly.
Yeah.
Action economy is that. Know what your character can and cannot do in combat, in a combat situation. Keep an eye out. Like I said, rather keep your ears out. Listen to every single thing the DM is describing. Ask the DM when you get hit by something. Ask them, what is it? What did my character feel when that hit me? They will tell you. Unless it's, like I said, unless it's something your character doesn't know in game, then probably he'll even make you roll for it. But pay attention. Pay attention to what your party members are doing also. Like if someone is down, help them first.
Yeah.
Get that person back up. If you can, do it. Don't rush at the baddie again. Hey, help your teammates first. So yeah, these are the basic things of action economy.
Yeah. Think about how you're going to do things. It's very important to understand. Again, like I was saying, I'm not expecting you to know this right off the bat.
Yeah,
That's-
not at all.
Not at all. Like, I mean, that's foolish of me to even assume that you would know what you have to do.
Yeah.
But I'll be like, okay, ask me a question. Like, so, what can I do? X, Y. Like, how does this work? I'm like, yeah, this is how this works. This is how you can do it in the moment. And all the other good stuff. And think, read, understand, questions, ask, always ask. The DM will always give you information if it's prudent to give you information. And, but yeah, most importantly, read your sheet.
And enjoy that downtime.
Yeah.
Enjoy that downtime.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought action economy would be a lot shorter of a conversation, but no, it dominated.
Yeah.
It dominated the podcast. I'm happy about that because it's important.
That's
to
a
know.
good thing.
It's a good thing. So yeah. So DMs, remember, give your players downtime. Players, take the downtime.
Yeah.
Fucking
Don't
hell.
try to steamroll through, steamroll through something.
Oh my
Don't
God.
give your characters time to breathe. Give your characters time to come, just bond with each other also. I mean, that is one of the strongest things, guys. When your characters bond, Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's like in Storm King's Thunder now we've become a family, and
Yeah.
it's amazing on so many levels. Like there is the pressure also on one side where we know if one of us go down, it's gonna flip characters so badly. But at the same time, you're bonded. You know you have each other's backs.
Yeah.
You know so much about each other. Oh, it's amazing. Downtime is amazing. It's my favorite time in D&D. Like I love the role playing. Oh, it's so
Yeah.
much fun.
Downtime does all. It's good to have that. Have a moment you can just have fun. Just do
Yeah.
do stupid shit.
Yeah.
It's very important and it's good to know. And so that's all we can say for today, I believe. I think that's everything we've covered for today, I think.
I believe so, sir.
Yeah. So thank you guys all so much for watching and listening. Remember to follow us on our various socials. You can see the image ahead. For me, it's at House of Grim on Instagram. For Conrad, it's at Connor24_TV for his Instagram. And of course, this amazing artwork done by our very own Priscilla Dillon. You need artwork done for characters, for any art you want, even graphic design, whatever. Hit her up at Prissy Dilly on Instagram, and you can talk to her and get all her information there and talk to her about whatever you'd like to talk about. So, from us to you guys, until next time, roll for initiative, and we'll see you then. Peace out, people.
Woo!